Okay, today I'm going to be painting this landscape painting without any brushes because I like to paint, with clear intention, and this tool in Procreate is really cool. The select color fill option I found a year ago-ish, and I've been using it pretty much ever since, and it's a lot of fun. So stick around, and I'm going to be explaining what I'm doing as I go along. It's not exactly a tutorial, and I've not edited it to crazy detail, so you might see me messing around in the menus a bit, but hopefully you'll find it somewhat interesting. So I'm bashing out the big shapes here basically, and it's probably the most important phase, I think. I've been using this process, for like maybe 100 paintings now. Yeah, maybe. And I'm pretty sure if I get this stage wrong, there's no really coming back from it. So if you're going to try to do... I don't actually think it matters if you use brushes or not brushes, but the composition is going to be the major shape. So if you look at this painting now, I've got the sky. Obviously in landscapes you're always gonna, most of the time, sometimes we don't have the sky. That doesn't really count. We got the big mountain, a slightly less bigger mountain, and a bit of grass, and the road. So we got 1, 2, 4, I would say 4, 5 kind of major shapes. Now that, I think, for me is going to determine your painting. And not to say I spend ages on it, but I spend enough time to think, are the shapes nice? Now what I mean by nice is, like, are they different enough? So we got the background mountain, and then we got the middle mountain, whatever you want to call it, and the foreground elements. And why I'm reiterating that is, are they different? So I'm looking at them, and it's like, is there too much symmetry? A little bit of symmetry is okay, but is there too much symmetry? If there's too much symmetry, things look really weird. But honestly though, if you go out hiking, I was just out hiking for the last couple of weeks in Scotland, and symmetry happens everywhere, but weirdly we don't like looking at it when we paint it. Don't ask me why, no idea. There's probably a psychological reason, but when we paint it, you need to make sure you break those patterns. So I've been painting landscapes like this now for about 10 years. I've been painting other stuff, but I focused on landscapes for like 10 years now. I like hiking, and I like taking photos of things I see, and I like to paint them. I don't really paint what I see, if that makes sense. I like to look at the shapes. Obviously, what you're looking at right now is no representation of anything, but it does come from me looking at the shapes and the things that I see when I'm out walking. And I try to represent kind of the weird things going on in my mind, which is not exactly what I'm looking at, because I like to take what I see and make it a bit more simple. I don't know if that resonates with anybody, hopefully, but I'm just trying to make you understand how my brain is working. And I like to change the colors. I think colors are a personal choice, and if you had to stick to the real colors, every painting would kind of look the same. And we've got the option, especially digitally, which is amazing. I mean, traditionally you can change colors too, but in digital we can change them at will at any point. And you will see me messing around right now, actually, is hue, saturation, and brightness. I'm messing around with the sky here because I didn't quite like it. Maybe it's a little bit too light. And sometimes I use those editing tools to change the colors, but 9 times out of 10 I probably change them from the worst for the worst, and I undo it. So it might be quite subtle. By the way, I'm running this video at 2 times. So this painting took me about 30 minutes, and you can see I'm struggling with the stupid shape tool in Procreate there. But yeah, they take me about 30 minutes. I don't want to take much longer. They are kind of fairly simplistic. Obviously, with all the shapes and stuff, they're not that simple, but I don't want to add pointless detail everywhere. I made a mistake on these sun rays. I mean, You might be wondering, because this is not a realistic painting, how is it possible to make a mistake? Well, you still have to ground it in reality. And if it doesn't actually look like that could happen, things look weird. So what I did there with the sun rays is I had a couple of sun rays coming out from an angle which didn't come from the center of the sun. It's kind of a sun, it's not exactly a sun, but they didn't come out of the middle. Now, that's not possible and hurts our brain if we see that happening. So there's a bunch of rules that with landscapes that you can't really break that easily. I'm not saying you can't break them, but you can't break them unless you know what you're doing and you're breaking everything intentionally or whatever. I'm not really breaking... Well, maybe I'm breaking a lot of rules here, but there's still a lot of foundation in reality. And I got to this point after, like I said, about 10 years of painting landscapes. Majority of that time was trying to paint them realistically, I would say, and trying to copy what landscapes look like and understand what's going on. And then after that point where I kind of get what's going on, I want to break it all. So I think that's happened to a lot of people who paint for a long time, is they go through a trajectory of let's try and match it. I'm kind of bored with matching it. Let's kind of make it look like how I want. And how I want might be kind of weird. The colors are wrong and the shapes are, the shapes are not wrong actually. I mean, I tried to do roughly the shapes, but the colors are definitely nuts. Obviously, I mean, you wouldn't have, like, I'm painting like the oranges and yellows on the road. You could, I would say like it's slightly possible because they could be, autumn leaves or something. So it's not like so out there that it's, a weirdo Picasso type thing, but it's definitely not painting what I see. But, in my mind's eye, I do, if that makes sense. So hopefully if you could leave the trying to paint exactly what you see go, you can have a lot more fun. And I do have a lot more fun when I'm trying to paint what I want to paint and what my mind sees rather than what I'm looking at. Now, I'm not saying that's easy. It's not. So for many years I painted what I see, and I think once you paint what you see a lot, you can start to tweak it a little bit. So I don't actually tweak it a hell of a lot to get different looks. It might seem like I'm doing it like 90% different, but that's not quite true. I'm simplifying and missing out a lot of detail, and that kind of looks like it's very different, but it's not. By the way, I'm trying to grow my channel. My channel is very small right now, and if you give me a like and a comment, it makes a massive difference. A huge difference. So if you've gotten this far, can you please leave a comment, even if it's just a thumbs up or something? I'd appreciate that a lot, because YouTube is a nightmare to get any new traction unless you're already killing it. So anyway, back to the painting, and I'm kind of going for like a retro travel poster vibe. I came across the poster vibe only a couple of weeks ago, which is crazy. Why haven't I seen these before? But ironically, when I was in holiday in Scotland literally last week, there's one on the wall, and it's like, whoa. Once you start thinking about something, you see it everywhere, right? And I love these retro travel posters. Now, I think they probably didn't even make that many, but it's kind of a style now. There are other people doing. There's probably loads of them, and I think they're more modern than they are retro, but they look cool, and you can imagine, with limited graphic design apps and things like that, it must have been really hard. So it's kind of cool to make them look a bit rubbish. I was going to add some text here, and I did in my last one. I chucked a short on YouTube, didn't get much interest. I can understand why, because I'm not really explaining, it's just short, right? But it'd be cool to put some text on here, maybe I'll do that later, but it's not essential. Text tools in Procreate are pretty nice now, actually, and I'm using my iPad, so the fonts on the iPad are pretty cool. But if you're struggling, I asked GPT which fonts to use, and it does a lot better than me. I'm not a fonts guy. I don't really get it. So I just asked GPT which fonts should I use. And it gives me some nice ones that kind of like a retro to fit the 60s or 50s. Or actually, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure what era these posters are from. Maybe they're like 30s. I don't know. Long time ago. Anyway, if you like this video, give me a sub, like, anything. It all helps. And hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.